Welcome to the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, live on WPPM 106.5 Philadelphia. I'm your host. This is what we do each and every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, live from the great city of Philadelphia. Look, speaking of Philly, it was a rough day yesterday for Philly sports. Sixers down, Eagles down, Union down. It's all right, though. This is one of my favorite times of the year in this city. I love Thanksgiving. My family comes out here from the other side of the state. We've been doing this for, 50 years. Just doing what we do, man, spending time and doing the Thanksgiving thing. And I love being in Philly around that time of the year. So with that being said, I'm excited, not only for that, but excited for our guest today because we have a great guest on the show. We've been running through a series of great guests. That is super exciting. I love the way and the direction of the show right now, the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. We branded around career, culture, community. We tell people that they belong here, and I think we're living up to that, and that's a great thing. So with that being said, I'm excited. I'm excited for today's show. All right, everybody, listen. Our guest today is Jay Jones. He goes by the name of the Profiler. So listen, here's what's happening out in the world right now that we kind of need to be locked in on, right? And of course, who's going to bring it to you? The Kenneth L. Johnson Show on 106.5 FM WPPM Philly, streaming worldwide and live on LinkedIn. Now, I'm your host, Kenneth Johnson, as I've told you, and today's topic hits home for anyone navigating today's job market. At East Coast Executives, we work with real people, real companies, and real opportunities. And every day we see how much trust matters. That's why today's guest is so important. Jay Jones, known worldwide as the Profiler, is one of the leading cybercrime investigators in the world. He's helped remove more than 32,000 fake jobs and 7,000 fraudulent profiles from LinkedIn alone. His work has been featured by NBC News, Yahoo News, and across the global professional community. He got LinkedIn locked in. He did a post the other day, and people started locking in on it because he's sharing great information. So sharing great information is what we specialize in. He's here today to break down the red flags, the new scam tactics, and what accountability needs to look like in 2026. Let's get into this necessary conversation. Mr. Jones, welcome to the Kenneth L. Johnson Show, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Listen, I'm glad that you're here. I think you have, important stuff to share with our audience. But first, I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself. Tell our audience about yourself, please.
Sure. So I'm a copywriter by trade, but then when I was laid off in December of 2023, that's when I decided to enter the job market, obviously by force because I was laid off. And I went to LinkedIn, I put up the open to work banner, and I got a lot of attention. But in that attention, I noticed that there was something off about it because, when you're laid off, you decide that if you get a lot of attention, it's a good look for you. You think you won't be in the job market for a long time. But I noticed that these messages were the same template from the same people typically. And that's when I realized something was wrong. And so I decided to investigate, take these scammers on to help protect everybody that's a real professional in the job market. So that's a bit about what I do, and it brought me to you.
Man, listen, that's a bit about what you do, but I want to know a little more about you, my friend. Like, talk to me. What city? Where you from?
Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, but I'm in Illinois. So Came out here a few years ago to pursue a marketing career. Okay. And ultimately, it led me to becoming a writer and then a copywriter. I've been in an ad agency for several years, and then that's where the layoff happened. But for me, I've always been a creator, imaginative, and following every thread to create things that help people to better their lives and their professions.
Man, I love it. I love hearing about people's career stories. Thank you so very much for openly sharing a little bit about yours. I really appreciate it. We started with your journey, but how did you become known as the Profiler, and when did you realize the problem was bigger than just a few job posts?
It actually started years ago because I wanted to write a detective novel called The Profiler, Enter Locklear Roosevelt, and it's based off of a detective. And when I decided to take on these scammers, I realized that I needed something that would be memorable. And I initially came up with the idea of like being known as the scam buster or some other name like that, but it wasn't catchy. And then, God said, like, you already have it. And I was like, oh, yeah, the profiler. And then I'll just go with that. And so that's what happened. And so it's a symbol, it's a meaning that this man, me, is out here looking out for you, protecting you from this nonsense as best I can, and giving you the information to stay safe.
Man, I love it. So you've removed tens of thousands of fake opportunities from the internet. But what are the top red flags professionals should look out for in today's job market?
It's counterintuitive to hear this, but the immediate attention, because scammers, they program bots to follow anybody that uses the open to work banner. And so the moment you post it, then you get a ton of information, a ton of messages from fake profiles, and they package the message based upon scraping the info from your profile. So if you look at the message, it'll say exciting job opportunity, but it's typically vague. And they scrape your information from your profile to intersperse different information from your content to make it look legitimate. So the immediate outreach, the vagary of the positions itself, like they never name it, they never have a job rec. And the person who has this esteemed title really has no internet presence anywhere else but LinkedIn.
Got you. So just so our audience knows, so you're talking about bots, you're talking about the open to work banner. Just be a little more descriptive in describing those two things.
Yeah, so the open to work banner, the inception of it is good because it increases your reach on LinkedIn. It helps more people see you. It helps more people help repost your post and give you more visibility to position you in front of the real people that can get you a job. But what scammers do is they program bots to follow every profile that uses that banner. And so from there, you're an immediate target. If anybody who is just not even listing the banner themselves, but repost your post, then they target those profiles as well, because those bots treat it like you made the same post yourself. And so it's a targeted campaign to deceive job seekers out of their information, their money, their identity, and ultimately their hope.
Wow. That's really interesting because like you had mentioned, the open for work banner is really, the idea behind it is pretty good.
Yeah.
But then people are taking that and using it to their advantage to do things that scam people out of opportunities and sometimes money as well, correct?
It depends, but the ultimate goal is always your information and always your money. Like I tell people that are employed, I say, I want them to run this little test. It's like, turn the banner on just for a day and see what happens. And you'll notice that you'll get a ton of information, a ton of messages from fake profiles. You get a ton of people reposting your posts because they're pretending like they're on your side to get you to listen to their overtures. And from there, that's when the scam starts.
Wow. A lot of people are hearing this for the first time from your work. So there's a term you use that's called recruiting love bombing. And what is that, and how are scammers using it to exploit job seekers?
Yeah, I got it from the dating world, because love bombing is where somebody bombards you with all of this praise in order to get your attention, in order to make you listen to them, and so they can trick you. And so when it comes to the recruiting love bombing, the fake recruiters, they send messages like, I can't believe somebody of your caliber is in this job market. I can't believe someone with your excellent qualifications has been in the job market for so long. And when you're laid off, it's a blow to your psyche. It's a blow to your confidence. You feel like you lose your worth, because a lot of people get their identity from the work that they do, which I don't believe you should. What you do is what you do, but it doesn't define you. But scammers play on the emotional tactics that are involved with that. And so they praise you to counter the constant rejections that you've gotten. And so when you hear this praise amid the constant no's, you're more likely to gravitate to it. And so that's what they do. They play on your emotions in order to get you to listen.
Yeah, that's a lot of games for people out here really trying to do some good things, and people are really playing in their face, as we would say, right? Listen, platforms have struggled with fraud for years. So I have a question, like, what should real accountability look like in 2026 and beyond from the platform perspective?
Actionable changes regardless of the income, because as we saw with Meta, there's an issue that they're dealing with about making 16 billion from fraudulent ad postings. It's been an issue for many years where people will make reports on profiles that are fraudulent, and the reports go nowhere. Things that are obviously fake, things that are obviously scammy, they don't get addressed. And so actually dealing with this and taking it seriously, and not just saying you're doing something, but actually doing it, because the difference between me and the platforms is I'm doing it.
Yeah. All right. We're here with Jay Jones on WPPM 106.5 FM Philly, broadcasting live on LinkedIn as well, streaming globally. Jay, all right. We were speaking earlier, and you told me you had a specific engagement. Well, I'm calling it an engagement. Let's call it an encounter where you supported a company from Philly that was having some challenges in this framework.
Yeah, it's KIPP Philadelphia Public Schools. So what happens is, as I, peruse LinkedIn to find the fake jobs to help alert job seekers and keep them from applying to them, I noticed that there were some fake jobs added to KIPP Philadelphia Public Schools LinkedIn page, and LinkedIn didn't notify them that these jobs were added to their page because there's no notification that happens when jobs are added. It just, they get added, and if you're not actively monitoring it, your company page could have fake jobs on it and you have no idea. So I reached out to the CEO, let her know what was going on. She began to work to get these fake jobs taken down. There were about 20 of them, I believe. And then they were ultimately taken down in the next 2 days. Then the scammers tried to double back and add the jobs back because I referenced Inception in the post where when Cobb was running, he went back to the same shop that the people were trying to get him from, because who would run back to where they were first exposed. So the scammers tried to do that, but I made sure that the jobs weren't allowed to be there. And so ultimately they were taken down for good. But that's the kind of stuff that happens where real companies can have fake jobs added and they have no idea.
So I have a question, and it may seem a little crazy. How did you know the jobs were fake?
Because of the type of template response that they use on these jobs, because they're templated responses and bridge jobs that people target because they're trying to make ends meet in the meantime while looking for work. And so what scammers do is they list bridge jobs that are appealing, like data entry, content writing, copywriting, marketing specialist, anything data entry that is remote, because that is appealing, because obviously you want to work remote doing something that brings in income while you're continuing your job search. So they target those jobs to get people to apply, to steal their information, and then ultimately their money. They don't, like I say, I would never accuse them of being smart. They use the same template across every job title, the same hourly fee for the job title, and they'll just post it in mass by the thousands. And so when I saw that template, I recognized it from many other pages that I've gotten jobs taken down from that were fake. And so that's what tipped me off to it.
Man, I really appreciate that work there. KIPP is part of the family. Shout out to my homegirl, Tanya, operations manager at KIPP Parkside. I had shared that you were coming on the show. Hopefully they tuned in today to lock in with you. It sounds like you did them a solid, and that work is appreciated, my friend. All right, listen. So I have another question for you that I think is going to be important for a piece of this conversation we're having. So you're telling me not only are there fake job postings, but there are fake candidates out here as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's an era of, it's the age of chaos, I call it. It's an era of fakeness. There are fake profiles, there are fake candidates, there are fake recruiters, fake jobs. And fake candidates, this is the side effect of giving your information to a scammer, because they'll take the information on your resume and then build a profile and then apply it to different jobs as you throughout, any job that comes up. And so what is hampering a lot of companies is being inundated with fake candidates, and they don't know how to sift through it because, how would you know? You're just getting a candidate that's coming into your pipeline. But what they do is, the goal is to infiltrate the company, steal as much information as possible, and then ultimately, if they decide to go that route, ransomware the company.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I get it now. I completely understand it. We're seeing this on our side of it. East Coast Executives, we're an executive search firm. And we don't run a ton of ads for a couple different reasons. But what I do see, because I'm active on LinkedIn, I constantly, my inbox is bombarded with people seeking opportunities. And oftentimes I really believe I'm talking to a bot or talking to some type of, it's an AI conversation. So we started something we're calling doubling down on real people. So that's a legit thing. That's not just me feeling that. That's actually happening from what you're seeing.
Yeah, correct. I mean, there's a situation that X just had recently where they rolled out an about feature on a lot of the profiles, so you can vet whether or not the profile is a scammer. And a lot of the US-based people that were making posts were actually out of Pakistan and things like that to influence elections and whatnot. It's a deep web. But regarding like the fake candidates, what I've said before is, whenever you deviate from the conversation, like natural pivots in the conversation, the scammers can't handle, because they rely solely on templates. So the minute you ask a question out of left field, that's when they start to either slow in their response time or they'll become LinkedIn member if they're messaging you there, because they'll block you and move on because
Really?
they don't want any type of exposure that would lead to that profile being taken down.
Man, the number, what was it? Was it 3,700, 3,200, something like that?
32,640 fake
I'm sorry.
jobs and over 7,000 fake profiles taken down.
You know what? I apologize for the underrepresentation, my friend.
It's all good.
32,000. Yeah, listen, that number just seems unimaginable. It just seems crazy to me, right? How did you get that many jobs? What were you doing? Like, what system are you using that people need to start leveraging or leveraging you to kind of combat this problem?
It's me, and it's following the rabbit hole, because what I'll do is I'll follow the job. I'll see where it goes, where it leads. And often, like I say, easy apply is a way that scammers hide a lot of the fake jobs, because you don't know where your resume is going. But if you do follow the link, if they decide to lead it somewhere, it'll go to a generic landing page, it'll go to a Google site form where they'll do things like, say, you have to pay $29.99 up front for a background check through TransUnion. And it's that kind of stuff that they can quickly get your payment information. And, for the record, a background check you should never have to pay for. And that only happens once you get an official job offer. And so for me, it angers me. And because of that anger, it's righteous anger. And so I follow that to take down these fake jobs because of what the cost is. I've seen people take their lives behind this. I've seen people lose $60,000 plus. There's a guy who messaged me. He lost $3 million in crypto from being scammed. It's too much of a serious matter for me not to do it. And so that's why, and that's what led me here.
Man, we sincerely appreciate you doing the work. I'm fascinated by where this has came from. I understood that there were always scams in the world of job search and career search, but now it's more prevalent than ever. And I think technology is behind some of it, but
yeah,
I think we've opened up a vast yeah, right, exactly. We just opened up the box, man, and people are jumping in for scrupulous reasons. And I'm just wondering, when I saw the NBC piece that you, I'm sorry, was it? Yeah, it was NBC, right? I saw the piece and your add on to that. And I just said, wow, this is really valuable work, not only for candidates, but for companies that want to stay authentic in their candidate search. Any advice that you have for candidates out here first, but then companies second, on how they can just, I guess, be a little more mindful of what's happening?
Yeah, gone are the days of openly sharing your resume and thinking that it's going to go into the right hands, because it's naivete at this point. Protect your information as much as possible. There's a ton about ourselves that is out there, but to openly share your resume is just giving it out to scammers, willy-nilly, to be honest. And only sharing it with people that are real, people that have real opportunities. And I hate that it's like this, because job seekers, they just deserve to apply for a job, have that job be real, interview with real people, that company actually be legitimately trying to hire for this role. They get hired, case closed. But that's not the time that we're in. So protecting your information, making sure your credit is locked down, making sure that, some of the things I suggest to people is have a separate phone number that they use in their job application processes, have a separate email that they use for specifically their job search. Because if the more layers of protection you have for yourself while you're searching for work, it lessens the likelihood of you being scammed out of money. For the companies, vetting the candidates, making sure that you're asking certain questions that would verify this person is legitimate. I'll keep the secret sauce to myself about how I can help with that. Sure. But other things you can do as candidates is, like I said, ask questions, take executive decision of yourself in your job search, because you get put in this position of deference and trying to be overly compliant, and that leads to you being abused and jumping through hoops you shouldn't have to. And specifically to your business in the executive space, scammers, they pretend to be executives because executives have a lot more money, a lot more access. And so if they can scam a person that is looking for an executive job or somebody who has one, that's more revenue that they can use to hurt people.
Yeah. So as far as from the job seeker standpoint, when you're speaking about having another number, like a Google number or something of that nature?
Yeah, VoIP number, yeah.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. and kind of, I guess, can mitigate some of it. I guess just being really, really watchful of your information and things of that nature. So I have another question for you. I constantly get texts about
Yeah.
job opportunities. Tell me a little bit about what's happening there.
That's data scraping because it can come from any manner of places that you've shared your information, whether you go to a grocery store and you sign up for, the coupons that come to you, whether you sign up for text alerts. Like you have no idea what the security protocols are for the company that is behind managing your information. And so that's another layer that you can add for yourself, like not actually signing up for that stuff or have it only go to your email address. And I believe the phone number you can text is 7726. That's where you forward spam text and whatnot. So your
Okay.
carrier knows to filter that going forward. But it goes back to the information being out there. It's out there and scammers can scrape. There's a problem called job scraping where companies that have quote unquote companies have no affiliation with the business that actually posted the job, but they scrape it because the information is publicly available. And then they can act like they're hiring, but the end around is job scraping is not illegal, and as long as they're linking to that actual job, it's not an issue, but it is.
Wow, Jay Jones on WPPM 106.5 FM Philadelphia, the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. All right, Jay. As we start to close out here a little, I wanna touch base on some things here that are directly related to you. I know, man. So for us, right? For me, part of the reason I do the work that I do, it's very mission aligned for me, right?
Yeah.
I honestly believe that I was placed here to assist executives with landing opportunities and connecting with companies and assist companies with finding the right talent. It seems when I hear you and when I talk to you from the first time we spoke, brother, I just said to myself, man, this seems like the thing that he's here to do. Like, yeah, I mean, I see your intention, I see your commitment to it. What are some other things that you've been able to build from the exposure that you've received doing this type of work that other people may want to tap into?
Sure. Yeah, I have a website. It's called theprofiler.org. That's where you can check out the cases that I've done in the past, ongoing cases, get actionable information about what's going on in the job market so you're safer while you're making your searches. Corporations interested in working with me, you can find information about that there. And for me, I appreciate the compliment and the mutual alignment we share because for me, the core is getting real people to real opportunities faster, getting real companies to real candidates faster, and making scammers' lives miserable because that's what they do all day. They wake up and their goal is to steal and rob from as many legitimate people as they can. They have no conscience. And so for me, it's about going after them mercilessly, relentlessly to protect the real people that need to be protected.
Man, protecting real people you are doing. Indeed, we've been having some conversations about that. I do believe there are some synergies, man. I'm looking forward to continuing the relationship and working with you moving forward and getting just some ideas about what that might look like, even from your standpoint. I just, again, I admire and appreciate the work. If you don't mind, in closing, please, again, share with the listeners that may be engaged in the job search, especially right now, people just looking for part-time jobs or stretch jobs just to get through the holiday season. Any advice for them?
I try not to engage in platitudes because that doesn't serve anybody, but I say not to be discouraged. I say that do things differently. So, like, avoid the bridge jobs, avoid the data entry jobs. Those are most likely scams. Reach out to your network, to real people that really want to help you and not just say it, because that's one thing that always bothers me is the performative nature is like where people say, just reach out to me and I'll be there for you to support you. And then when you reach out, you never hear from them. So make sure you're talking to people that are actually going to help you, that are going to go to bat for you. And guard yourself as much as possible because we're in a time where it's about sharing information and increasing the likelihood of being seen. But in that process, when you share the wrong thing with the wrong person, I've said this before, just one bad click on a link, one bad, visit or trusting of download can lead to financial ruin.
How about the companies, Jay?
For the companies, Post real jobs, fill them, be sincere in the intentions. And I'm talking to the companies that are wasting people's time, like stop wasting people's time. For the legitimate companies, I'm here to help you. I'm here to make this process more seamless, to get real candidates to you, to help you continue your operations without them being hampered and flustered by scammers. Because what happens is the scammers are causing all of this chaos, and so the job seeker is mad at the companies, but at the same time the companies are like, hey, we really are trying to like get through this and help you get back to work. But when the scammers cause this chaos, it just makes people bitter and uncertain. And so that's what I'm trying to bring is a bit of sweetness to this situation and make people more certain in their job search.
I think I lost you for a sec, but
I'm here. I'm
sure we're all
here.
right.
Can you see me?
Okay. Yep, I got you. I got you. I apologize. I think I lost you for a sec, but anyway, Jay, please give him the website again, sir.
Yeah, it's theprofiler.org.
Man, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you so very much for joining us today. Listen, this is what we do here on the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. I want to thank Jay for sharing so openly. His expertise for the work that he does, just the work to protect job seekers and employers around the world is commendable. For everyone listening, here's the big takeaway. Real people need real opportunities. Real companies need real talent, and trust in the hiring process matters. That's why at East Coast Executives, we made one simple, universal commitment. And it's really simple. It's 3 real candidates with real qualifications who are ready now. No confusion, no fake profiles, no noise, just real hiring solutions for organizations that need great people in the right seats. If you're ready for clarity in your hiring process, visit eastcoastexecutives.com. Listen, we brought you Jay Jones. I don't know what else to do other than ask you to look at the website. Take a look. I think it's going to take all of us kind of putting our hand in to stop the fake jobs, the fake profiles, and things of that nature. Jay's doing an amazing job, but he can't do it alone. And I think he provides extreme value to people that are struggling in this area. I think he has a solution on the candidate side and the corporate side that probably needs to be looked into. I know I'm going to look into it myself and visit the website just to try to get information. I know there's a ton of it out there. Look, active on LinkedIn, connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. This is the work I do each and every Monday at 2 p.m. on 106.5 WPPM Philadelphia. Streaming worldwide, broadcasting live on LinkedIn. This conversation really has me thinking so much about the way we're doing work as a community, hiring managers in general, the things that they're going through with their inboxes being full, and how we can add value in that direction. So just active in sharing that and giving people information. I think we did a good job of it today. We're growing the show as we speak, and I think guests like Jay make this work a little easier and a lot more enjoyable. Love the value, and I love the work that he's doing. Thank you all so very much for joining us today. I sincerely appreciate it. I want everybody to enjoy the holiday weekend. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. I know it's Monday, but I'm already looking forward to Thursday. All my family in South Philly, all my family uptown, Germantown, West Oak Lane. I'll see you guys on Thursday. It's the Kenneth L. Johnson Show. It's Kenneth L. Johnson. This is your place where career, culture, and community meet, and you definitely belong here. Thank you for joining us.